So the last time I went on vacation, I took notes all week to really write down every little thing that we did. And it turned out to be an hour-long episode of Letters from the Field. I'm not sorry. The cruise was insane. And I did it again. Hopefully, this time, the episode doesn't end up being that long. Let's talk about it. Don't sue me or anything. So, going on this trip was kind of very, very different. Because not only had I just come off of a trip, so I had a certain level of expectation, I had a very different trip just a month ago. So already my mind was in a very different place than where I was for the cruise. Going for the cruise, I was like, okay, I have to be in charge, and I'm going to be fine, dined, and pampered and loved. Going into this one, I was like, alright, I don't have to be in charge, and we're going to suffer a part of this. Awesome. And I think when I say that, I think some of you are going to think, oh, just because you're going to, like, a third world country doesn't mean that you're automatically going to suffer because you're an American, you asshole. And I'm like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I know how this trip's going to go. And for one of the things we were doing, we were meeting up with 45 other people for a big family reunion, and that's insane, Raven. So let's talk about that. Still don't sue me. So we left Friday night. Leaving on Friday night is kind of weird because I hadn't packed for the trip. This also comes back from the whole, I just went on a trip. I didn't want to pack for another trip. It just kind of happened that way. So it was the day of the trip that we're supposed to be flying, and I'm still putting stuff away in my bag, still packing like a complete novice at traveling, and just trying not to forget anything, because this is a very different trip than last time and before. So last time I packed these really lovely outfits and tank tops and just the best I had for the nightly trips, for the nightly dinners. This time I packed not that, and even worse. So we finished packing, and we had this book club. I mentioned the book club in before, but I was behind in the book club by $1.50. Mostly I was behind in the book club by $1.50 because communication sucks sometimes. And I went on a cruise, so I was just behind. So one of my biggest goals of this trip, specifically on the first day, was to finish the original book, which was, if you guys remember, Unashamed by Lecrae. I did, and I want to know what you guys thought about it. There were parts of the book where, like, his story was very fascinating, but it also just seemed like he was like, hey, listen to my music, please. Please. I don't know. It definitely caused me, because growing up with this music at a certain point for me, it definitely, like, I had to really look at some of his music and be like, oh, okay, you know, I can kind of see that. I hadn't thought about that. Because at one point he was a very Christian rapper, and then he stopped being so. But because I had first been introduced to him as a Christian rapper, I always just assumed his music was inherently Christian. So when he started explaining that there was a certain album that he went for, quote unquote, secular, and he didn't look back, I was like, oh. So then I started re-listening to that music. It was like, oh yeah, that's not Christian. Weird. So there was that, and the flight landed in Lima at 10:30. we watched the Tomb Raider. That was the in-flight English movie. It was Tomb Raider, and the in-flight Spanish movie was Early Man. Early Man, if you don't know what Early Man is, I'm not surprised. Not a lot of people did. It kind of falls into the stop motion category of Wallace and Gromit. It's by those guys, which Wallace and Gromit and Curse the Were Rabbit is an old nostalgia trip for me, like you wouldn't believe. And one day we'll actually talk about that, but today's not that time. But we ended in Lima at 10:30, and I was unaware that there were other members of the family landing at Lima at the same time. Like, I didn't know this. So we're getting our bags, and we're kind of just doing what we gotta do. It's like, alright, what, now in the country, I have to wash my camera bag tremendously because, people will steal shits. So I was kind of getting ready for that whole part of it, and as I'm doing that, I see my aunts with one of my nephews just sitting there at the bags, and I was like, I did not think we were meeting people here. So just seeing her in like such a not paying attention and not paying attention isn't the right way of saying it, but just such a hey, I'm not expecting to see you type moment. It was really refreshing. It was like, oh hey, cool. So I surprised her at the luggage claim, and we were just like, oh my god. And we started hanging out and talking, and it was a lot of fun. Just kind of seeing each other and running into each other like in that way. I think it would have been different had we just automatically seen each other and started off as in oh hey, you're you and I'm me, and that's how we're supposed to see each other. Woo! That's wild. But we didn't. So I don't know. I started reading my next book Friday as well, which was The Woman in Cabin 10 by Ruth Ware. This book was in fact a mystery, which whenever you read a mystery is always kind of terrifying because it's like, I'm not sure how this is gonna go, and it's always one of the things where like, oh, is this gonna be really good or is it gonna be complete garbage? You decide, because I'm not. But as I started the book, then it was like, okay, now I'm ahead. My mother's book, who is the other member of our little book club, she didn't download, so I got massively ahead of her, which was kind of funny, from being so far behind to being so far ahead, and just so quickly. Was kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie, I did enjoy it. I did enjoy that aspect of it, and I was like, haha. So after we kind of landed, I have to look back at my notes every now and then, so if I'm stopped moving, that's why. We got back to my grandmother's house, which was a 45-minute to an hour drive from the airport, and we ended up getting back to her little apartment, which is in downtown Lima. Well, they're not going to say anything else than that. But it was beautiful, and my cousin was there, and my uncle was there. And it was like, yes, everyone's back together. Now we can finally start. The original plan was to actually go out clubbing that day. And unfortunately, or rather fortunately, the club that we were going to was hosting a concert, and if you wanted to get into the club, you had to show up 4 hours earlier than I was even in the country, so we didn't get to go. And my friend who was gonna take me out clubbing was very disappointed about it. Like, she was having a bit of an emotional time trying to be like, I'm sorry. I wanted to show you a good time. And I was like, it's fine, really. But she wasn't having it. Get you friends who will take you clubbing in third world countries because you'll run everything and they know and they can get you into the best clubs. That's the kind of friends you need. It's very close to having a moment, but it didn't. A hangover moment, but it didn't happen, which is good because the next day I had already had plans. At 9 o'clock in the morning, boom, I start getting inked. Now I know what you're thinking. Getting a tattoo in a third world country is probably not the smartest idea, especially not when it's your first tattoo and you don't really speak the language, which that in itself is an insane set of circumstances. But in the end, it kind of all worked out. What my first tattoo is it is the Mad Hatter's hat with his 10-6, and it's a quote from the book Looking Through the Looking Glass. I can't go back to yesterday if I was a different person then, because I was a different person then, and it's something I've been wanting since I was in college. And it's personally a really beautiful quote to me, and it's something that means a lot to me. And just the fact that I finally now have this tattoo on my arm is awesome. And I seriously could not be happier with this tattoo. He did it very quickly. It was done in an hour, and it was pretty painless, I'll be honest. Which is good because I now have a couple more tattoos that I really, really want. And this was a really good one to start us out. So yay. But of course we're not getting tattoos that day. That would be sad. And I've already kind of mentioned the next thing we did. Straight from getting this tattoo, we meet up where we go to this dinner. And this dinner, we go to this lunch type dinner thing. And what this place is that it is a place meant in it's meant to take up your entire day. That is the point of this restaurant that we went. The goal of it is to why did you not die? The point of it is that you go to this restaurant expecting to have a really nice day, and you end up spending your entire day there. There's a race car driving, there's go-kart driving you can do, there's go-kart driving, there's bungee cords, there's dirt bikes you can ride, there's parties, there's food, there's playgrounds. Like, it is meant for you to go and spend your entire day, almost like an amusement park. And I have my arm wrapped in saran wrap. There's 45 other people who are all related to me by blood, and I don't know any of them, and they are very excited to meet me. And most of them know me, for one instance, from when I was a baby, and I'm just like, yeah, I love meeting all of you. I know exactly who all of you people are. Love me. And I just sat in the corner and just ate my food. And I just ate my food. Like, okay. Like, what else are you supposed to do in that scenario? I don't know. I was more concerned about my tattoo looking like garbage than anything else, I'll be honest. But we then meet up with the people I was supposed to go clubbing with, and the whole plan there is to be like, okay, I'm going to go hang out with you guys, and we went to her house, and was like, sorry, we couldn't go clubbing, that kind of sucks, what do you guys want to do? And they were like, let's go clubbing. You know, we didn't get to go yesterday, we should go clubbing tonight, it'll be really fun, we should go clubbing. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. And then I passed out on the couch before any of us got dressed. Then we all kind of decided, like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't go clubbing. Maybe, like, you're dead to the world. And I'm like, Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm really tired. I didn't realize that was the case. Also, I have a flight at 4 a.m. The next day, which if you're gonna go clubbing and you have to leave clubbing at 4 a.m. to go to a different place, don't go clubbing. It's just not worth it, actually. I'll be honest. Not worth it. And I think part of me knew that, and I think part of me was like, okay, this is why I can't go clubbing. I need to go to bed. I need to rest up because 4 a.m. the next day, I'm on a flight, and I gotta be paying attention in Spanish, which is my second worst language, only followed by English. Like, it's insane. But that was one of the other really good things, that being in Peru all this time, I really had to work on my Spanish, because it's not bad. It's just it's something I don't use often, and because I don't use it often, it's not great, and that's part of the problem. And I want my Spanish to be good. I want it to be much better, because I'd like to be trilingual. At the end of the day, I would like to be trilingual. I'd like to be able to speak many different languages. It is that is kind of my goal. Not just because I want to talk to more of you guys, but I also want to be able to, know things. Like I don't believe that there should be very many barriers between conversation, and the fact that I'm learning Spanish and Japanese, not really at the same time, but like, you know what I mean, is part of that goal, I'm rambling, so I'm just gonna stop doing that, and I'm just gonna continue going. So 4 a.m. the next day, after passing out on the couch, after having pisco de sour, which are the Peruvian national drink, which I did not know that was a thing. Like, I did not know Peru had a drink. The things you learn when you're 21. We get on this flight to a region called Iquitos. And the way I can kind of describe Iquitos is that all of Iquitos is the largest kind of like district's domain of Peru. And the reason why it is because most of it's rainforest. Most of it is complete rainforest, which is kind of insane, because in the city of Iquitos, you kind of go there, and in comparison to Lima, Iquitos is kind of shitty. And I mean that in an endearing way. Like, like how it's not the best, but it's like, it's blank. Like, if you have a dick of a friend named Chad, but you still love Chad because he helped you out that one time, it's like, yeah, I wish it was better, but it's Chad, so Also, they're doing some guerrilla warfare in this game, and I don't like it. Because I'm very bad with guerrilla warfare. I like running, I like action, I like being able to just put people down. But Iquitos is kind of like that, and we go to the town of Iquitos, and we start kind of doing things, and it is what it is, Our hotel was very lovely. And it was very much a place where it's like, okay, Americans are gonna want a place to go when they come to our city that's not like the city, and we need to kind of acknowledge that, because we have a very large tourist attraction very close by, and I think we really need to capitalize on the American taste, because everything else around is very dialect and it's very broken down. And then you get to this hotel, and there's like fine art on the walls, and everything is pristine, white, clean, and it's just very surreal, going from the inside, going from the outside in, very surreal experience in this hotel. But they knew that, and it was awesome. So the day that the first day that we went to Iquitos, because we were really only there for one night, my aunt's like, all right, I want to explore everything this town has. I want to have, because my aunt and my uncle are world-class travelers. Like, they know everything when it comes to traveling, and that's awesome. And they're the type of people you want to travel with, but they're very open to anything when that kind of happens. So it gets kind of crazy, kind of fast. And so we're in Iquitos, and they're like, all right, let's go. We hop into what I can only describe are mopeds. Kind of like you see in India when you see pictures of the Indian street life, and it's not quite cars, like that type of thing. They're kind of just like bikes with tents over them. We kind of get going on this thing, and he's like, all right, we're gonna get going now. And then there's 8 of us. There's me, my mom, my sister, my aunt, my uncle, my cousin, and then my 3 cousins. One cousin is 15, and she's very much a millennial, and I mean that in the nicest way possible. She's currently taking a class right now about the environment, and she thinks she knows everything about the environment because she took a class, and she's currently watching documentaries of things. So it's really fun watching her being like, well, actually you shouldn't do that because of this, and this. And then my uncle just looking at her and smacking her down like, yeah, so you can go and try and do things to be, helpful towards the environment, but all you're probably 9 times out of 10, all you're doing is providing a company more money for a stamp that says organic and free range chickens. So I mean, you live your life, you live your lie essentially. And I was like, oh, damn, okay. And then a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old, which traveling with a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old to the kind of exotic places is always a trip. So we get there, and they have this thing that they eat, and straight up, it's beetle larva. It is just a beetle larva that's been put on a spike. That's all it is. But it is a regional delicacy, and they love it, and they eat it. And it was like, all right, we're gonna have some of this regional delicacy. I'm like, okay, cool. So we just started walking around this dirty market, eating beetle larva, and being like, yep, this is great. It wasn't. The first kind of bite, because you can eat the whole thing in a bite, and they serve it on a stick, so it was like, cool. But you bite into this thing, and it's very, like, it was good until you got to that aftertaste where it was like you just took your tongue and scraped it on the dirt, and it just tastes like straight earth and dirt, and it was kind of gross. And typically I'm very much up for anything. I've had cow intestines, I've had brain, I eat whatever because I want to explore and I want to experience that kind of thing. And I'm typically always like, all right, cool, that was great. Even if it wasn't for me, I still kind of enjoy it and kind of continue it. That's probably been one of the few things that I put in my mouth and I'm like, let's not do that again, because that was trash. Which, I'm not disappointed to say I didn't like the beetle larva, I'll be honest. On that one. So then we had beetle larva, and we're walking around, and we're like, all right, we're getting hungry. It's time for lunch. So we notice that on some of the stands on this bazaar that we have now traveled to, and we're eating beetle larva through this bazaar because of course we are. There are turtles with bastion shells, and there's their meat all over the place, and just hanging out. And we're like, you guys eat turtle? That's cool. So we had turtle soup, and beetle larva, and then another stand was selling alligator, just randomly. And I've had alligator before. It's not that weird of a thing to have alligator. It tastes kind of like chicken, but it's kind of chewier. So we have some of that. We also have this like ball of rice with just random meat thrown into it, and that was our lunch, and it was really good. But it was like, what the fuck are any of these things? I don't know. Um, but that was pretty much the second day. Was just experiencing all of Iquitos and this terrible town. That night we walked around trying to get a hold of the nightlife. There were kids. There's one stand that we kind of saw. They were like using this kid, and they were trying to promote something, and they were doing martial arts at first. And it's kind of cool. And then they started rubbing this lotion on this kid, and they started like just dislocating parts of his body. And it was like, look at him. He's like Elastigirl. You can do whatever you want to him now. And it's like, there's so many more connotations that I think, that's kind of not okay. We got really uncomfortable and we left really quickly. But like that was the kind of thing. Like you had kids with arms being dislocated, and you had, gambling just in the street of just street games. But there was this one game where they took a guinea pig, put a box over it, shook the box around in circles, and let the guinea pig go. And there was a ring of boxes around, and whatever box this guinea pig went into after it got, turned, would go into this box with a number on it, and that would win. Which is really cool. Which is just a really cool thing. It was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Weird that's next to the kid getting all dislocated for your enjoyment, but, you live your dream. Oh, my mom's texting me. She's just finished The Woman in Cabin 10, which is cool. Now we're kind of waiting for our next book. More on that in a little bit. But that was something that was really cool, and just kind of like seeing the nightlife in such an unabashed way was interesting. Like I'll admit, it's not a good feeling to walk away with, but it's definitely interesting, to kind of see that. It's like going to Vegas and just seeing the prostitutes like, hey baby, you want this. You know you want this. You're in Vegas. What the fuck else do you want? You're on the strip. It's that kind of interesting. So there was that. And then we kind of went back to the hotel. I was like, all right, 6 a.m., we got places to be. At 6 a.m., we are moving on to our next thing. And sure enough, Wednesday morning, I think it was Wednesday. Let me check my notes. Because I don't remember things. That was Sunday, going to Iquitos. No, Monday. It's Monday, my bad. Because we left Friday, so yeah. Monday, we are woken up at 6 a.m. by our tour guide for the next 4 days. And he's like, all right, my name is Agosto. In English, that's August. And I'm going to be your guide for the next 4 days. And if you're wondering why we need a guide for the next 4 days of our trip, that's because we were going to the Amazon rainforest in Iquitos. And the way it was kind of broken down was really simple. He took us back to the same market we were at yesterday. I don't think he realized it was the same market, because we kind of started talking to people, and he was like, how do you know these people? And it was like, yeah, we get around. And, we kind of talked to the beetle lady, and he started explaining things to us of like how, why the flavor is that way, why, this and that is. And it turns out that part of the dirt that and the ground that the beetle larvae eats, is what you're tasting. So the reason why I tasted like my tongue was being scraped on the dirt is actually because I was eating dirt. Fun. So there was that, and then we get onto this little boat, and me and my family have traveled a lot, and I'm very happy that I've traveled a lot, because it's something I believe that everyone should do. Everyone should travel. Everyone should get the opportunity to travel. Because we have a beautiful world, and all that kind of dumb rationale of thinking. But So I know how you should travel. That did not stop us, especially because I just got on a brand new tattoo and I'm going to the Amazon rainforest. That we had lotions and bags, and we brought the biggest bags we owned on this trip. So we have to load up this tiny boat with all the biggest bags, and I'm a big old American, and I weigh like an American. My uncle now lives in Britain, so he's a big old British man at this point, except he's still Peruvian because you don't change ethnicities just because you move to a new country and you start living there, you start talking like a British person. He's a big old British person, and we're bringing all our bags, and they're really big and obnoxious and heavy, and we're shoving them all into the tiny boat. And I'm like, oh, we're going to end up going swimming into the Amazon rainforest, into the Amazon River, because you brought too much stuff. That did not happen, thank God. And we kind of just moved on. We threw everything in the boat, and we moved on, just the way I wanted to. Which was cool. Which was a really cool feeling. Riding on the Amazon, it was one of those things where it's like, I just want to take all of this in because it is something that I'm never going to be able to do again. Not because I don't want to, not because I'm not going to be able to, but because the likelihood of me saying, I want to go back to the Amazon forest this way, and not going back through Brazil, not going back through, a different part to a different part of the culture, a different part of that land, is very minimal. I do want to travel the world, and I don't want to take pictures of everything, and I don't want to see it. I don't really want to go to the same location over and over again. So that's why I highly doubt I'm going to go there. So a lot of this boat trip, I ended up just hanging out on the front of the boat, looking at it and taking everything in, kind of to explore everything. And the first half of the trip was an hour-long ride. The hour-long ride got us to a midway point of this wildlife preserve, where the goal of this preserve is to kind of show off all the animals of the rainforest in a single spot, so you kind of feel safe, you feel secure with what you're being shown and seeing. And it was kind of cool. Like, our guide Augusto was explaining alligators to us, and I wanted to laugh. I really did, because I'm like, you're explaining alligators to a Florida boy. That's hilarious. And I hate the fact that I can make the distinction now that I am so Florida at this point that I can call myself that, and it makes me sad that I've lost my New York culture. Holy shit. But it's true. Whatever. Well. And then we saw piranhas. We fed piranhas, which was intense and scary. I have some really good pictures of turtles, because, of course, I do now. And it was just a good time. I drank coconut water out of a coconut. They lobbed off a coconut, and it was like, hey, drink this if you want. My bad. Sorry, dude. And that was that. No, thank you. I don't want any of that. And that was kind of cool. There was this giant fish that had suctions. That sucked up things, and it scared the shit out of my little cousin. And it was awesome because he's a little bit of a shit, and I felt bad, but at the same time I was like, haha. So then that was that. After we left the animal lodge, we left the animal reserve, we got back on the boat for another hour and a half boat ride to finish up getting to the lodge. Getting to the lodge, we then had to do a 2.5 mile hike with all of our luggage, and we are not using carry-ons. We're not using backpacks like you should when in the Amazon rainforest. No, we're carrying giant pieces of luggage and suitcases with us, like dumbass American tourists, and it was probably the most American thing I've ever done. It was the most touristy thing I've ever done, and I'm legitimately ashamed of myself for doing that. There's no other way of saying it. There's no other way of saying it whatsoever. I'm gonna be honest. What is this map? Why am I getting so lit up? So there was that. Getting to, so once we finally get there, there's little like halfway mark, not like a halfway mark, but like a 3/4 of the way mark of this tiny boat we had to get into to cross this little waterway. And let me tell you, that also sucked. We had to take 2 trips. We had to take 2 trips because of all of this stuff and how many people we had. And it was just so uncomfortable. It was very much this like, oh, okay, this is how this happened, and we are so unprepared to do this. It's almost hysterical. We got a lodge, and it was actually kind of quaint and kind of nice going to this lodge in the middle of the Amazon rainforest. Which, I don't know. For some reason, hearing myself say that makes it sound really douchey. No, but it was. It was really nice going to the lodge. It was quiet and quaint, and like that was one of the things about the Amazon. Just like not being around people makes you realize how much you hate people and all the noise that people create. But there was that. Once we unpacked, we had lunch, and lunch was really good. It was fish, and it was fish caught in the Amazon River, and it was a type of red meat that we learned is actually just part of a giant rodent, which is one of the main sources of meat. If it's not fish, it's this giant rodent thing. And we actually got to saw it later in the week, and the thing was beautiful. I don't know how else to describe it. Like, it had this beautiful black eye. I was like, hey, stop eating me. And I was like, no, you're delicious. No, but so there was that. But we had lunch, and then we went on a 2-hour hike throughout the Amazon to get to this village, and the village was just a village. It was a village in the middle of the town, and my cousin was like, it's amazing how they don't have electricity, really. They don't have any of these things, but they have a bar, and I'm like, yeah. Yes, they do. They have a bar because drinking is a very few things that all human beings need. Whether or not they want to admit it, that is a human need to drink ourselves to death. And it's awesome. She was very over me at that point. At that point, she'd seen me drink a number of Pisco de Sours, and saw me kind of just be like, yeah, to some of her comments. Not because there's a reason why millennials are annoying, right? And that's it. And she was very good at pointing all these things out. My phone is glitching the fuck out, and it's terrifying. I'm just gonna close that up right now, so I don't have to look at it. That was kind of interesting. This is a big house. So we get there, and they have liquor, and they're like, all right, so we're going to show you some of the alcohol that is made naturally in the Amazon rainforest. We have one that's made from made like guavas, and it's super sweet, and it's really good. It's the kind of drink that you start having shots of, not realizing that you're getting turned into your 3rd one, and then you realize you're seeing double and you can't stand straight. I had 2 of those. That was terrifying. The next one was made out of tree roots. It's called the 5 Roots drink. What it is made out of the different tree roots of the Amazon. Put it all mixed up into one mash. And it's kind of insane. It kind of tastes like a really strong whiskey. And it's like, oh, okay, too many shots of that, you'll be gone real quick. That was my third shot. Fourth shot was a purple shot. It was a purple drink that is made out of a Peruvian fruit, which I have forgotten the name of, and that by itself nearly killed me. And it was like, oh, buddy. And then the fourth one was all three of them mixed into one, and that's when I'm like, oh, I'm gonna die. Okay, I'm gonna die. So that was fun. And then we still had the hike back to the lodge. At this point, it was nighttime, and I'd been drinking, and we had to walk back through the Amazon rainforest, and I was terrified. There's no other way to say it. I was terrified. So I started talking to my millennial cousin, and she's talking about YouTubers, and I tell her about my channel, and she's like, "Oh, that's really cool. Why don't you vlog?" And I was like, "Cause I don't wanna be Jake Paul." And he goes, she's like, "Well, don't do anything stupid." I'm like, "Yeah, but just the whole like inclination of someone screaming out that they're a YouTuber walking around in a different country, it's just a bad image now." And I don't want to do that. Plus, I want to enjoy my time. I don't want to be working the entire time I'm on this trip. And that just seems like way too much work. So we got back, and I was exhausted, and I was very confident to like not eat. And I was okay with not eating until I remember that dinner was a thing. And he was like, "Oh yeah, we're having dinner." I was like, "Oh, okay." So that was Monday. Tuesday, we have a lot to go through. Tuesday, we was all day at the lodge, and we basically did two things. We wanted our guide, Augusto, was like, "All right, so today's all about learning the culture and the people of the Amazon. We're gonna hop on the boat, and I'm gonna more or less show you. I'm gonna take you to go meet a tribe that and the only reason why they get to still exist basically at this point is because of tourists like you, and they are like they're a dying tribe. They know it, they see the end coming, and it is not, and it's something that they're terrified of. So if you could, I don't want to ask you guys to spend money every place we go, but if you really could afford to spend some money, it would be really nice if you could, spend money here. So we get there, and they start telling basically the story of their people, and part of their story was like, yeah, like it's we're really on a lose-lose situation, because the more kids we have, the more they learn Spanish. The more they learn Spanish, the more our culture dies. If we don't have kids, our culture dies completely. Only the older generations can speak our language, and all people are dying. We, back in the day when we came to this area, we left because staying was going to kill our people, and we were being murdered, and we were being used, and we wanted to get out of that. And so we did this. And now our people are dying just because we can't speak their language, and our culture is dying because we can't speak their language, and it's like, that's so sad. So they were desperate to kind of like show off their language and show off their culture to us, in an effort to like keep it alive. So one guy put traditional tribal lines on us with instruments of which is instruments they would use to mark up their faces, and they asked us to do dances and doing that kind of stuff. And I'm aware of how I'm painting this, of how we were the saviors of their nation. No, we're not. We're people who paid money to see them because we wanted to see everything that the Amazon has. But in a way, that's kind of what we were doing. And there were a bunch of pictures of, my family doing their dances and doing like their stuff. My mom was taking pictures of it because she didn't want to be a part of it. And I was like, I need you to never post those pictures on any social media because I don't want to get murdered by the social justice warriors. Because, you know, they wanted us to dance with them. And they were like, hey, we're going to do some dances, and one of them, you're going to participate, and it's going to be fun, and it's going to be weird. But just go along and do it because we want you to. And I was like, okay. I actually tried not to, and they got kind of offended. So the guy grabbed my arm and was like, you're doing this. And I was like, okay, I'm doing this. And it was fun. And then we got to try the blow gun. And he's like, okay. So that was really weird. Once we got back into the everything, we had lunch. Lunch was nice. It was more fish of the Amazon and more rodent meats. And then we went fishing ourselves. I'm not a big fisherman, but just the fact that I can say I went fishing and I caught a fish in the Amazon River is awesome to me. Caught a fish for that dinner. We ate that fish. It was cool. It was cool. And then we so that was Tuesday. Wednesday was Monkey Island. I loved Monkey Island. Monkey Island is a reserve for sick monkeys and just mostly monkeys, but they also had sloths. The tribe had a little baby sloth, and they were like, hold our sloth. And I was like, oh my god, it's so cute. But going to Monkey Island was just amazing. It was a wonderful hike that we had to take after our boat ride. We walked on, and there was this monkey just hanging on to people, because they were very used to people at this point. And they were like, yeah, don't feed the monkeys anything from you guys if you want them to still be used to eating what they would eat out there, because eventually we have to let them go back out into their space. And he's like, okay. Which is really cool. And like, I took so many pictures of the monkeys. Like, you have no idea, guys. So many pictures of monkeys. I've already been using them in competitions, and it's great. By the end of the trip, I was all sweaty and gross because, of course, I was. And this monkey, ran up behind me, which was terrifying at first. I'm like, monkey! Why is there a monkey just behind me now? And like, he jumped onto my arm and into my lap and started like licking my my arm and neck, and I'm like, oh, this is really sweet. And I was asking I didn't ask a ghost because we had a specific guide for Monkey Island, and they were like, yeah, they like sweat. They're a big fan of sweat. And I'm like, why do I not have all the monkeys on me then? Not sure if I want all the monkeys on me at once, because there were a lot of monkeys. But I sweat a lot, and it's gross. I acknowledge that. But his tongue was so human-like, and his hand was so human-like. It was so weird. It was so weird, guys. But my cousin was absolutely in love with the monkey, and it was amazing. And it was like, ah! But it was cool. It was fun. So there was that. After Monkey Island, we went back to the lodge, and as we were traveling back, we saw dolphins. And that was supposed to be its own thing. We were supposed to spend time just floating on the Amazon, hanging out, so we could see dolphins. So we could see the pink dolphins of the Amazon. That was something that we were supposed to do. We, in the end, didn't have time to do that. So we just ended up, on our drive back, we would see dolphins. And it was like, I'm sorry that we're not going to have time to do it how we normally do it, but these are dolphins of the Amazon. And I'm like, all right, that's cool. I really didn't want to spend a couple of hours on the boat just staring out onto the muddy water anyway. So the fact that we just saw dolphins just hanging out was awesome and exactly how I wanted it, to be honest. So there was that. Then to end out our day of Monkey Island and stuff, we went out to a beach that's only available to go to during this time of the year, which is the Amazon's dry season. And going there, I have probably taken some of the best pictures I've ever taken of just sunsets and just an experience. It was so quiet and so peaceful. I walked out to the middle of the beach and just kind of stood there, and there was nothing. It was silence, and it was so peaceful. I'm like, I never want to leave. This feeling I have right now, I never want this feeling to end. And, you know, I still have my tattoo, my fresh new tattoo. Not even a week old, and I'm just like, I want to experience this forever. So while my cousins and my family went into the water and swam and laughed and giggled, I hung out on the beach and I just kind of explored. I just kind of took in everything. And trust me, there was a lot to take in. That is something I'm proud of. There was a lot to kind of take in and behold, and I took in all of it. We went back, then it was back to dinner, and we were cool. Next day, I think that's... Yes, the next day, I woke up at 4:30 because we wanted to go see sunrise. We saw sunset the day before, and we wanted to go see sunrise. So 4:30, we're up. We're hiking through the Amazon once again, going through farmlands, Amazonian farmlands, and people's houses, and there's roosters losing their minds. Everything's kind of happening. And we ended up getting to this location, which is right next to a school for all the local children, and there was it was too cloudy to see sunrise, and we were actually really disappointed about it. But it was like, hey, sometimes it's just how it goes, you know. And we're like, yeah, sometimes it's just how it goes. And as we're walking back, I look back over my shoulder, and the sunset was just perfect. It had come up above the tree line, and it was just there, like, hey, were you looking for this type thing? And it was awesome. But then that was also the day where we had to pack up our stuff and go. You know, we ended up packing up everything. Was there anything else that we did that day? I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. No, yeah, we went on one last hike at the Amazon. It was a 2.5-hour hike. We saw the biggest spider I've ever seen in my life. I don't do spiders. I recognize that I also said I don't do snakes, but I don't do spiders especially. I don't like them. Half of them are poisonous. You don't know which half, and it's creepy. And this spider was so big, it blocked the path that we were walking. Like, it and its spider web blocked the fucking path. It was terrifying. So there was that. Then we had a 3-hour boat ride back to the town of Iquitos. And when I say back to the town of Iquitos, I don't actually mean we made it. I mean, we got on the boat ride, went back to Iquitos, put all our stuff in the van, and we went to, we went out of the, and then we just left. We hopped on to the plane and just left. It was awesome. We ended up having dinner on the floor of the airport, which, not clean, A, not sanitary at all, B, and just, what the fuck. And that's where the biggest hiccup of the trip happened. So, I'm going to tell you something that the Peruvian tourism board isn't happy for you to know, but you know what? It's part of the thing. And there's been a lot of kidnappings in Peru. You go to the airport, and they were just countless pictures of children that have been kidnapped. So lately, they've been really hunking down on like the rules, and one of the rules are that like you don't share the last name of your, like, if you have a child under the age of 18 and you don't match the last name, you need documentation from that child's parents saying that it's okay that they go with you. I was under the assumption that we had covered all this, because after all, we wouldn't have made it to Iquitos without this paperwork. So everyone kind of just assumed that we were good. We were not good. We were very not good. So we get there. It's like 10 o'clock at night. Our flight was delayed by like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And my millennial cousin doesn't have our paperwork. And none of us have her last name. And it became very clear that she was not going to be able to come with us. And Iquitos is not the kind of town where you leave a 15-year-old girl alone to figure shit out. Not only that, we weren't about to leave a 15-year-old girl anywhere to figure her shit out. That just wasn't happening, period. So my mom is like, look, I'll stay with your cousin. I'll make sure that she's safe and that she gets to where she needs to go when she needs to go. And we will figure out the paperwork in the morning. Don't worry about it. Go. So I ended up leaving my mom and my cousin just there in the hopes that, they'll get to where they get back to us by the end of the next day, because we needed to. We had other trips we were going to go. Like, we had other places, other parts of Peru we wanted to see. And my cousin herself was also going on another trip that same day. So we had places we needed to get to. So we go on. It was a fight with security. We ended up trying to get anyone to listen to us. We had actually ordered too much food for dinner for the 9 of us. So we ended up giving some food to this woman who was just waiting there. And we were kind of like, can you say that we're good people? Because we gave you food and stuff. Because, like, we need this shit. We need this child to come with us. Because, the fax machine isn't exactly the best thing. The sending paper technology isn't exactly the best here. We need to kind of figure something out quick. But after we didn't have anything, we ended up leaving. And we're like, okay, we have to come to grips with the second half of this trip doesn't happen. That's kind of where we're at, because there's a very strong possibility at this point it just doesn't happen. And we land, and we're all kind of dejected, and we start turning on our phones again, and we're having messages from mom and from our cousin saying that they're letting us on the next plane. The security guard left, who knew of the situation, left. The guy they were talking to was like, hey, let's talk to this other security officer. Let's just get this through. Let's see what we can do. Let's just make this work in a way. And in the end, they were able to get on the next flight, and everything went smooth. My cousin had been crying. It had been rough. And just the fact that she was able to come with was then awesome. So everything went off without a hitch. We ended up staying at the airport for an extra hour to wait for them. We ended up having to pay for our taxi's parking in that time, and we made it work, which is awesome. And that's just shit that you do for family. My legs are so cramped because there's not a lot of leg room in vans. I don't have anything else to go with that. Next day, we get a 3-hour car ride to the deserts. Another region of Peru. As we're driving by, we're seeing the coast. We're seeing cliffs and sand and things. And then we get to the desert, and it's just nothing. Now, when I said that the pisco de sour was the drink of Peru, it wasn't wrong, but it's also the drink of this region specifically. Um, so we get there and we just start drinking pisco de sours. The car ride was intense. All of us were coming along. Now my other aunt, who is the mother of the millennial, is now with us. And we were just going, and we were just like, all right, what happens, happens. We brought my grandmother along, and I was actually very worried about my grandmother. She's diabetic, and I'm like, I don't know how she's going to be doing with this whole heat thing that we're going to be dealing with. Because, you know, elderly diabetic ladies and heat don't exactly go hand in hand. It's not an award-winning combo or anything. So I was very concerned about that, I'll be honest. But in the end, that all worked fine. I still have a grandmother, and she's still a lovely woman. We going to the desert. The first thing we did was we wanted to go sandboarding, and we wanted to hang out at the oasis. Hanging out at the oasis is probably the most tropical thing I've ever done. Because you're just surrounded by sand, and there's this lake in the middle of nowhere, and they've kind of built a whole like downtown district around this tiny natural pool, and it's awesome. It was definitely one of the places that you could like look around and be like, oh, this is where the life is. This is where the city is. Awesome. So we ended up doing that, and then the next day we were there. We're like, all right, we're gonna go on a dune buggy tour. We're gonna go do things, and we did things, and it was intense and it was awesome. I'm never gonna be able to go on another roller coaster ever again, just because like it was such an adrenaline rush going on it. And we were jumping, we were flying. My sister's phone fell out of her pocket. My aunt like caught it mid-air and was like, "You're not losing your phone." And it was just so that was really fun. So that was like really fun doing. And then we were like, all right, so what else are we gonna be able to do? And then we were like, oh, let's go to the Nazca lines. If you don't know what the Nazca lines are, they're these giant carved lines that have been like carved into the planet, and they just look like different things. There's the ant, there's the spider, the monkey, the condor hands, and there's a bunch of different shit. But it's all terrifying when you really think about it. And we went there. It was a 3-hour drive to go there. And we saw that, and it was really cool. And that was also the 28th, which is their 4th of July. It's 28, Peru's Independence Day, and it was insane. There were people everywhere. People were drinking, having a lovely time. We saw the Nazca lines. We were 3 hours back to our hotel in the desert, and then that was Saturday. Sunday was literally all day traveling. And when I mean all day traveling, I mean it was a 3-hour drive back to Lima, a 1-hour drive to the airport, a 6-hour flight back to the States, and an hour and a half flight drive back to the house. So it was literally an all day driving experience, and I was exhausted at the end of it. But that's what it was. It was intense. I loved the trip. I love my tattoo. I love the fact that I saw so much family. I love the fact that just there was so much going on. It felt like I couldn't catch a breath for the entire time, and I loved it that way. I really do mean it. While the cruise was amazing and it was beautiful and it was something that I want to do over and over and over again, this was a trip that there would never be another one like it. There's never going to be another trip that I do this again, and I loved that. But that was the trip. it was another hour-long episode. I'm very sorry about that. Let me know what your favorite trip was in the comment section down below, and we can just trade trip stories. So thanks for watching. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye bye. I wanted to kill that guy before I ended the video. Alright. Bye.